Hello, my friends, and welcome back to my channel. This is Pernilla Lilla Rose. I know I usually forget to introduce myself, but so be it. What is there a connection between longing, longing in the heart, self-love, and embodiment? Oh, yes, baby. There is a huge connection, and you don't really want to miss out on any of them. So let's say you have this deep longing in your heart, but because you don't know what it is, how to feel into it, you just feel you're longing for something. Maybe you're just feeling you are missing something, you're unhappy, you don't feel complete. There's something in here that might be aching. And because you don't know what to do with it, because you have not ever really learned how to listen to yourself, embodiment, you ignore it and you try to fill up this kind of lack, longing for something whole, emptiness. Go out there and you try and fill it up. Is it gonna work? Maybe for a short while, for sure, right? The newness of things, but it does not address this. So, in that sense, longing and embodiment are very connected. So now let's add the self-love. If you're not connected with yourself, not embodied, you have not learned how to listen deeply to yourself, that's not very loving, is it? Because you're turning away from yourself. You're listening to others instead because you don't know how to listen to yourself. So there is a very strong connection. And that's why learning to listen to yourself, I talked about it, I think it was yesterday. I highly recommend Hakomi therapy, which is all about learning to listen to your body. It's a form of embodiment therapy where you start embodying your own experience and you learn to listen to that. So that is already just turning towards yourself is very self-loving, right? You can probably start seeing all the connections. If you ignore yourself, you're not loving yourself, you're moving away from yourself. If you do not know how to listen to yourself, the self-love is not really there yet because you're so used to living out there and listening to what other people say. So if you pause and do some work to really start honoring what is actually going on in your whole body as messages, as prompts, as guidance, then you can start bringing your loving attention to that, right? You start listening, you go, oh, you know what? I didn't even feel it was right when I did this or when I said that, but I wasn't aware of it. I was so focused on what they wanted and of what they thought, what I thought they thought I should do or be. So my focus was away from myself. So I didn't even know about self-love. That's like a whole new concept for many people, right? What does it even mean? Does it mean to go and get a nice massage? It certainly can if it's aligning with the rest of you. If it's an antidote or if it's a solution to not treating yourself well, that you're beating yourself up all day, that you just need to go and get a massage, is that very loving to yourself? Probably not, maybe the moment, but if you go right back and not listen to yourself, beat yourself up, and you need a massage every day, I don't think that's very loving. Uh, Massages are great, but it's even greater to give yourself kind of a self love massage energetically by turning to the parts in your body, the organs, everything that's going on in there, and just lovingly, I say massage, but it's just lovingly connecting with it energetically with your attention. And you start listening, like, oh, oh, now I know what feels true for me. It wasn't that. That was when it was out there. But now that I'm paying attention to what is going on in here, and I'm learning what it means, because that's a whole new level to it. What does it mean to listen? What does it mean to listen to that contraction in my belly or that tension in my jaws? What does it mean? Well, in Hakomi and whatever else, what other modalities there are out there that help you embody yourself, come back home to yourself, you start listening, and you go, oh, so this means no, or this means yes, or whatever else may mean, I can't feel it yet. I am not sure what it means. The tendency is to go up in the head to try and figure out what it means, to interpret it. The answer is not up in the head. The answer is right in the core of the feeling. Many times in the core wound, which is something we easily bypass and avoid because it seems very painful. But that is not loving, is it? We turn away instead of turning towards. And why do we do that? Because we do not know how to turn towards. We don't know how to be present with these painful contractions and memories. So again, it's learning to come in, and if it's a real strong contraction that's very afraid, there's just a ton of fear, we just meet it right at the edge. It's like if you're sitting at the water, at the ocean, you just, dip in your toe just to sense into it. Like, what is this? So that the contraction still feels safe, to slowly maybe open up one little toe, one little petal. And then you go, oh. And then as you soften and this contraction feels that you are paying attention to it, then it might open up the next little petal. So you see, it's a very self-loving dynamic between your attention and what's going on in the body. It's such a beautiful, beautiful practice. But it's practical, right? It's not that massage or, it's great. It's also great to start eating healthier. I totally recommend all of that because that is being loving to your body. But we need to include very strongly the part of listening to what is true. And there comes the third part I mentioned in the beginning, is the longing. Many times we know we don't want whatever it is that we're doing. And we might be fighting it, and we might try and leave it and try and do something else. But if we're not connected with what we deeply long for in our heart, we're still disconnected. We're not turning our love to the longing. And this is what I've talked about so much, and I probably will talk about it a lot more, because to me, it's somehow, when that became so clear to me many years ago, and then even more since I started talking about it, such an important piece, my friends. It's such an important piece. When you learn to turn towards your longing, and and the protection around the longing, because it's scary, we might have been hurt in the past when we actually listen to it, but that's part of the protection, and that keeps us out there. So when we turn our attention self-lovingly towards the fear, the protection, and just, it's like, again, we sit at the edge of the ocean and dip our toe into this protection and say, okay, I'll just sit here with you. And you can take as long as you need to open up. You see, that feels safe, doesn't it? this part, this protective part, is not going to freak out. It's like, oh, you're not going to push me. You're not going to push me away. You're not going to try and pry me open. You're just going to sit here with me. Okay, then I might open up a little. So then the protection opens a little up. And then some of the light of the longing shows up. And then you can start being curious about this longing. And again, the longing is not happening up here. The longing is a deeply felt sensation in the core of you, in your heart, in your chest, maybe your belly. And it's a sweet feeling. There is a warmth to that. There's like a sweet yearning. So you start feeling that. And that's where, again, self-love comes in, embodiment comes in, because now we're in the body, we're in the heart, where there's something that wants to unfold and express and experience, manifest. So we have the embodiment here, feeling it, the self-love coming in and said, yeah, let's spend some time together. And then what we long for starts showing up and tells us what it is. What is this longing for? Many times there's a projection out there that we want something. Fine, that's okay. We can let that be there too, but it's deeper than that. When you ask yourself the question, for instance, well, if I had that, what would that do for me? What is underneath having this? What does that do for me? And then you might find something like, feel safe, that makes me feel purpose. I long for peace, I just want to be at peace. So then there's all these layers that we come in, and then we eventually really drop down in something that's very meaningful and very rich for us. And that is where we can hang out now. Now we have the self-love that's willing to hang out with the embodiment, hang out with that feeling in the body, in the chest, if it's longing, or wherever it is. Now we are at the portal. I mean, the way I say it, it's my experience. It feels like here we are at the portal of the divine, where the divine's mouthpiece, the divine's expression, the divine calling can start coming out, because we are at the door or at the portal. And because we are staying there in the sensation of it, it literally starts opening. And we start allowing it out, the energy of it. So now this energy can start filling up our field and start radiating it out. And then it will naturally be matched or met by similar energies. So it is really a portal of creation without all the doing. The doing is to turn our love back to ourselves. The doing is to come back in the body and learn its language. From there on, there is a sense of resting, of inviting and allowing and surrender. So, embodiment, self-love, and longing. 3 parts to peace and fulfillment. If it resonates with you this here, you are welcome to reach out to me. You can always work with me privately by setting up a free 20 or 30-minute self-discovery session. The link will be in the description. You're also welcome to join my next online gathering called Feel Your Deepest Longing. See? Find Your Divine Calling. So it's all about this. And you can also find the link for that below. And in mid-January, I will be offering a free webinar. I will, again, make sure you get on my list so that you will receive the information by email. I'll be offering a free webinar about how to really learn to say yes to who you truly are without all the guilt and the doubt and the fear. So if you want to join me in that, make sure you stay connected with me. Thank you so much. Have a beautiful day.